All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. Terence Crawford goes off on Derrick James and calls Derrick James a hater who doesn't know anything. And my thought on that is, man, Terence Crawford, man. I know you're in my comment section now. Now, I caught you. I know, Terence Crawford, I know you're in my comment section saying that nonsense. Derrick James might be a hater, and he might not know anything, but that doesn't mean he's wrong, okay? Let's get into that in this video. All right, man. Terence Bud Crawford, my number one pound for pound fighter in the world, but a guy that I gotta tell you is just a walking contradiction, man. He's a walking contradiction. He says about Derrick James, he just realized that Errol Spence Jr.'s trainer, Derrick James, is a hater who doesn't know anything. Okay, now, Derrick James is a former professional fighter. Derrick James is a trainer in his gym of the two of the fighters that I know he trains. Two of them are world champions. One of them is a two-time world champion, and the other one is a unified world champion in Errol Spence Jr., okay? Derrick James knows something about boxing, okay? He knows something about boxing. And seeing as he is actually paid a percentage of Errol Spence Jr.'s purses for training Errol Spence Jr., he knows, generally speaking, how much money Errol Spence Jr. makes, okay? Now, the numbers that he used might not have been accurate in the statement for whatever reason, but what he said, man, look, dude, was pretty much spot on. But what Terence Crawford said, I thought, interestingly enough, really applied to him. Because he said that he doesn't know anything. I think he said doesn't know anything about boxing, or he's a hater, he doesn't know anything, and he's just interested in keeping people in witness protection. Witness protection. Let's analyze that, man. It's hilarious. How can Terence Crawford talk about Errol Spence Jr. being in witness protection? Errol Spence just fought Sean Porter. Errol Spence Jr. fought Kell Brook. Errol Spence Jr. Those two fights right there are better fights than Terence Crawford has ever fought in his career. Just those two fights are better fights than any fight Terence Crawford has had in his entire career. Terence Crawford says witness protection is what Terence Crawford says, right? Witness protection. Who is the witness? What protection program is Terence Crawford in where he won't fight Sean Porter? Because Sean Porter doesn't have a belt, or Sean Porter doesn't have a belt, or Sean Porter is my friend. What protection program is that? Just yesterday, Terence Crawford's trainer, Terence Crawford's promoter, Bob Arum, said that he would not allow Terence Crawford to fight Mikey Garcia because Mikey Garcia's demands were too wide. If you can't fight Mikey Garcia who lost to Errol Spence Jr., what kind of protection program are you in? Okay, but I guess it's not just protection. CBC, when it's Terence Crawford literally not fighting anybody, then it's not Terence Crawford being in a protection program, right? It's just that everybody's ducking him, or people are asking for too much money, or, they don't have anything to offer, right? Isn't that what you heard? I think, did Bomac say that about Sean Porter? But I know for sure I've heard somebody say Sean Porter has nothing to offer. You won't fight Ugas. You won't fight Terence Crawford. You won't fight Mikey Garcia. You won't fight Sean Porter. You got to pull teeth. You got to pull teeth to even get a conversation going about fighting Kell Brook. But the guy that's already unified belts by fighting Sean Porter when he did not have to. He fought Mikey Garcia. He fought Kell Brook. That somehow he's in witness protection program just because he says, hey, man, you're going to want a lot of money. Now note this. The same reason that Derrick James pointed for Sean Porter, Terence Crawford to fight Sean Porter, right? This is what he said. It's the same reason that literally the same reason that Bob Arum used to say that Terence Crawford couldn't fight Mikey Garcia. It's literally this. They literally said the same thing. Okay. Terence Crawford says, Derek James says about Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford's got to fight somebody. He's got to fight Sean Porter or something like that to get his profile up, because right now there's not enough money in the fight. Errol Spence Jr. is the one Errol's going to want to make this amount of money. Terence Crawford's going to want to make that amount of money, and there's got to be money for everybody else. So Terence Crawford should fight Sean Porter, make the money, make the fight, make more financial sense in order to make the fight happen, right? Now, according to Terence Crawford, that's witness protection, right? That's witness protection, and it's hating. Right? It's hating. But the same thing, Bob Arum just said the same thing about Mikey Garcia. He said, no, we can't make a Mikey Garcia fight. Why can't you make a Mikey Garcia fight? Because Mikey Garcia doesn't draw, and Mikey Garcia is going to want too much money. So there's no way we can make Terence Crawford and Mikey Garcia, because Mikey Garcia is going to want too much money, and we won't be able to afford the fight. That's what Bob Arum said about Terence Crawford and Mikey Garcia. So if Terence Crawford, if Bob Arum can say that about Terence Crawford and Mikey Garcia, why can't Derek James say the same thing about Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr.? They're literally saying the same thing. So is Mikey Garcia, is Terence Crawford in a witness protection program for Mikey Garcia? Follow the logic there. Obviously, nobody that is a fan of Terence Crawford would say that that's unreasonable, right? If Mikey Garcia wants to make $15 million, if he wants to make $10 million or whatever to fight Terence Crawford, and Bob Arum's like, look, man, I got to pay you 10, I got to pay Terence Crawford at least the same amount of money I got to pay you. There's not going to be enough money there because you don't draw enough, because you don't draw enough people. And by the way, Bob Arum had also said the same thing about Terence Crawford not really being a draw. So why is it okay for Bob Arum to say that, but not Derek James to say that? It's literally the same thing, man. It's literally the same thing. So to me, this is what Bob, and I'm serious. I don't care what y'all say. I'm going to continue to say this because if Terence Crawford cannot fight Errol Spence Jr. next, Terence Crawford still has to fight somebody, man. Terence Crawford still has to go out and find somebody that people think is the most legitimate competition that he can find, that he can get his hands on. Okay, Mikey Garcia is somebody that is reasonable. Okay, Sean Porter is somebody that's reasonable. Ordenis Ugas is somebody that's reasonable. Okay, Chris Van Heerden is not reasonable. Alexander Putin is not reasonable. Okay, you got Igis Kalvanakis. It was a mandatory, so that was reasonable. It had to go. Amir Khan was not reasonable. That is not a good fight. That is not a fight that anybody. That is a witness protection program, man. Okay, if Errol Spence Jr. is in a witness protection program, so is Terence Crawford. And Terence Crawford has been in one because he has not fought anybody that somebody thought had a chance to beat him, a legitimate chance to beat him, since Yuriorkis Gamboa. And I do believe that was at lightweight. There was nobody. Now you can say there was nobody at 140 when he was there. Okay, there was nobody. So, and he unified 140. He got his hands on all the belts. That's cool. And that's why I have the dude at the number one pound for pound spot. However, at 147, the dude's just not fought anybody. And I still find it just really funny how you are deemed a hater because you suggest that there's a good fight that can be made for him. The PBC is not in a rush to make a fight with Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford. Derek James is telling you that. He's saying, hey, man, and he's telling you why. Giving you the same reasons that Bob Arum isn't desperate to make big fights for Terence Crawford. Because with Bob Arum, Mikey Garcia is not big enough a draw, right? But Mikey Garcia, now watch this though. Mikey Garcia can fight Errol Spence Jr. and they can make a bunch of money. So what's the difference between a fight between Terence Crawford and Mikey Garcia and Errol Spence Jr. and Mikey Garcia? I'll tell you what the difference is. The difference is Errol Spence Jr. The difference is that Errol Spence Jr. carries a fan base and Terence Crawford doesn't. But why doesn't Terence Crawford carry the same fan base that Errol Spence Jr. should carry? Because he's not fighting anybody, because of the program he's in. But hey, man, continue to act like that's not the case, Terence. Continue to act like that's not the case. Terence Crawford fans, continue to act like I'm just hating on Terence Crawford for no good reason. I'm not hating on Terence Crawford. I'm telling the truth. I want to see an Errol Spence Jr. versus Terence Crawford fight. Terence Crawford's got to fight somebody, man. He's one of the best fighters in boxing. I got him as the pound for pound #1 guy in boxing. But what it seems to me that he's doing is he's just trying to wait. He's saying, okay, Errol Spence Jr. is going to clear out his side of the street and I'm going to sit here and not take any chances so that when that fight can be made, I'll still have my belt and I'll still be unscathed and ready to fight that fight. So it seems to me that his plan is to not fight anybody until he fights Errol Spence Jr. And that's just a weak program, man. That's just a weak program. And that's what it looks like he's doing. And you can't convince me of anything other than that's the main reason he's not fighting anybody, because they see a big fight off in the future. And so they are going to sit tight, do like Tyson Fury did with Deontay Wilder, have Errol Spence Jr. fight the difficult fights, have him fight Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Mikey Garcia, Kell Brook, while Terence Crawford doesn't fight anybody. And then when all that work's done, Terence Crawford will come fight the guy at the top, right? But in the meantime, he's fighting the Otto Valines and the Tom Schwartzes. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's just how I see it. You let me know how you see it in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.